You are eager to listen to me? Yes, sir. You will maintain silence? Yes, sir. Thanks a lot. Today is the National Library Day, and what we celebrate is Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, who is also called as the father of Indian modern library information science. So today is his birth anniversary, or what you call as an birth centenary, and we all library professionals today follow his birth date as the National Library Day. So I wish you all the happy National Library Day. And before I start my lecture, because it is related to the management sciences, I would like to pay tribute to my management guru, Dr. Ashok Zambekar, who was my first reporting boss when I joined IIM Ahmedabad as the first professional, or when I started my professional career. So I would like to pay an homage to him, and I would like to start what I have been assigned today. I have slightly made some changes. I was given a topic as use of e-resources, isn't it? But what I thought is that when you people are going to start your career in a research of management sciences, I would like you to intro with what is called as an literature survey, when we go for searching with the help of various type of sources in a research. And management sciences is a very vast field. Okay, it does not include only HR, it does not include only finance or marketing, but the bundles of various subjects, what you call in a management sciences. So this is the advances in literature survey in management studies. I would also request you people, if your mobiles are on, please put it on a silent mode. Okay, and whenever you people want me to have some clarifications, you can stop me at any of the point, right? My talk will cover about the information sources, web resources, electronic resources. Now before moving what actually these sources are, let us have a very clear idea about what do you mean by a document. Everyone talks about books. Book is the only single source in the category of documents. Okay, book is an embodied form or a printed form of the ideas. But when we say a document, document includes everything, including books. So it might be a newspaper, it might be an article, it might be a magazine, it might be a journal, it might be a lecture, it might be a conversation, it might be a discussion. Okay, everything includes in a document. So in a particular way, how documents are classified, these are the three tagons, or you can call it as an patrons in a field of library and information science, that they have classified this document according to their expertises. As I have told you that today is the S.R. Ranganathan's birthday, so he is a very pioneering personality in India and very much appreciated, very much acceptable at the global level also. Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, C.W. Hansen and Dennis Grogan. How these documents are classified? First we should know that Ranganathan has classified this document into 4 categories: conventional, non-conventional, neo-conventional and meta documents. No, it's okay. You can listen me up to the last. The conventional forms. Conventional means the traditional type of things. What we have in a library, what we see by our naked eyes, the books or the physical form of any document, those are called as an conventional. So you may say that books are there, journals are there, magazines are there, whatever form that is in a conventional and in a very handy type of thing. That is a conventional documents. That is the non-conventional. Non-conventional means which is not that much easy to handle. Like maps. Okay, it has information, but you cannot easily handle it. That's a non-conventional form. So maps are there and variety of things are like globe. In school you might be have seen on your headmaster's table, there is always a globe. Okay, it is also one of the document by which you can see the geographical locations on that globe. So this type of things come under non-conventional because we cannot keep it in our bookshelves. Then comes the neo-conventional. Neo-conventional means the newer type of documents. With the help of the new technology, the documents are being generated. Like nowadays, whatever is in your CD formats, whatever that is not in a printed format, that comes under the neo-conventional type of things. Then comes the meta documents. Meta documents are the documents which cannot be generated with a human interference. Is there any document, such a document that without human interference it can be generated? Anybody can tell me what is a document that without human interference it is generated? मानवी हस्तक्षेपा विना तयार केलेलं निर्मित केलेलं असं एखादं डॉक्युमेंट आहे का? कोणतं आहे? हो की नाही? Why you people don't watch news, isn't it? Every time you want to have a Kapil on the TV. News you people don't watch? Weather reports. न्यूज मध्ये जे वेदर रिपोर्ट दाखवले जातात ते कशावरनं दाखवले जातात? Yes. TV channels. But what is the source? Satellite images. वरती जाऊन पिक्चर काढतं का कोणी? That is with the help of machines, isn't it? Without human interference. So those documents are the documents which has been categorized as a meta document. Okay, and those documents are very, very important in taking a variety of decisions. So this is how Dr. Ranganathan categorizes the documents. Then C.W. Hansen, he says that documents are classified only in two types. One is the primary and another is the secondary. Primary, he says that the information what we get at the first hand, that is the first stage, that is the primary documents, which includes books, journals, newspapers, patents, specifications, standards, reference books. Okay, this comes under the primary sources. And then the remaining, like your bibliographies, your abstracting and indexing services, and all comes under the secondary. Then comes the Dennis Grogan, who says that primary, secondary and tertiary should be the classification, in which primary should be only the primary. Can anybody define me what is the first hand information you get early morning? Newspaper. जर तुम्हाला कालचा न्यूजपेपर आज वाचायला लावला तर it won't be a first handed information, because early morning what you get the information is your primary source. Like same, if you go through research journals, those are the primary sources of that particular information, which is never been published before that particular information. That is why the periodicals or the journals are the very basic, what you can say, the primary source which gives you the information regarding a particular research. Let me make you again clear, many of the people called a journal as a magazine. Magazines are basically meant for entertainment. Journals are the scholarly publications in which you get a research output. Magazines, for example, what you have, a variety of magazines in the market. Stree, Char Chaughi, and all variety of things. Those are the magazines. But magazines are totally different and journals are totally different. So this comes under the primary sources. Now combining the primary sources, the secondary sources are generated, like books. एखाद्या ऑथरने एखादी बुक लिहिली, it is not his output, because he collects the primary information, he combines those primary information and comes out with the secondary source that is called as a book. Fine. Now the bibliographies of these books and variety of things comes under the tertiary sources. Like a guide to a particular subject, the bibliography of bibliographies, the guide to a research particular project or anything, that can come under the tertiary sources. Now this particular Dennis-Grogan formula is worldwide accepted, that documents should be in a 3 categories, that is primary, secondary and tertiary. Now when we talk about information sources, can anybody tell me about what is information? What is information? Mahiti. I am not asking you about what do you mean by information in Marathi. What is an information?
Processed data.
Processed data. And what is the data? Collection of facts, isn't it? What is collection of ideas? So basically what we call is information is a processed data, isn't it? Data is a raw material. And what is the next to information? Knowledge. Can you define knowledge? Yes? When we say a person is a knowledgeable, what does it mean? तुम्हारे घर पे तुमको कोई knowledgeable बोलता नहीं है ना? Why? Yes? Because pursuance of this particular information, it translates that information into a knowledge. Okay, pursuance is the importance. Because a teacher teaches in a class, he gives equal information to everyone. But how it has been perceived by a particular student depends upon that how knowledgeable he becomes. त्याच्यामुळे 12वीच्या नंतर बघा प्रत्येक जण तुमच्या वर्गातले वेगवेगळ्या वाटेने निघतात. कोणी डॉक्टर बनायला जातं, कोणी इंजिनियर बनायला जातं, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन दी परसुएन्स. Fine? So this information sources is divided into 2 forms, that is documentary sources and non-documentary sources. Again, documentary sources, what I have been defined that these particular sources which are in a printed form, those are called as documentary sources, and which are not in a printed form, that is called as non-documentary. This is the same formula what Dennis-Grogan has given, and it has been accepted as documents should be the primary, secondary and tertiary sources. This is what is a list of the primary, secondary or tertiary documents, like periodicals, research and technical reports, conference proceedings, patents, standards, thesis and dissertations, research report, trade literature, laboratory notes, official publication and personal correspondence. So these are the primary sources in which you get the first-hand information. The second is bibliographies, indexing and abstracting services, review, state-of-the-art reports, monograph, research books like dictionaries, encyclopedias, handbooks, tables and formulas. Yes, you have any problem? कळत नहीं है, मराठीतून बोलो. Then the tertiary is yearbooks, directories, bibliography of bibliographies, list of research programs and guide to literature. नाही तुम्हाला जर इंग्लिश मध्ये कळत नसेल तर मी मराठीतही बोलू शकतो. इंग्लिश ना? Fine. If I am audible to you and if you have a good type of apparatus with you, it will be easily to perceive it, isn't it?
Yes.
Fine. Now what is the non-documentary sources? We have an invisible college, we have an institutional sources and we have a individuals. Now what I was talking about, when it is a lecture or it is a discussion, it comes under the invisible college. Because when we talk about any of a subject, we give a reference to that, this person has quoted this or this person has talked this. So that is the invisible college. Institutional sources, like what you people or what your institution is doing, isn't it? This is the 5th year of your series. Such thing, if an institute or an organization organizes a series of conferences, a series of lectures, those becomes an institutional sources. Okay, because that particular institution can be recognized by that particular topic. So it becomes a source of information. And then you know the individuals, the experts of a particular field, of a particular subject. So that becomes the individuals in a non-documentary sources. Then non-book material, which is not in a printed form. It is also called as an audiovisual material. It is also called as a non-printed material. So we have three type of non-book materials. Non-projected material is there, projected audiovisual material is there, and audio material is there. In a non-projected material, what we have is again the three parts: graphic material, 3D graphic material, and programmed graphic material. What we are talking is about this type of all resources. You can have it in your library. Okay, you can utilize it from a library, because with books and journals or newspapers, except these three, you people might not be that much aware of this many type of things. So in graphic material, what we have is print card, charts, flashcards, pictures and maps. In a 3D graphic material, we have a dynama, globes, kits, models and relief maps. And in a programmed graphic material, we have series cards and
Excuse me,
dynama.
means
Have you seen any kindergarten type of school? Toddler school?
yeah.
Okay, they have a variety of octagonals or the circular type of
Okay.
things which have a dimensions
To teach them
to
shapes.
teach them the shapes. Those are called as a dynamas. Okay, but it is also an information source. It can be help the user to know about what actually the shape is. Then you have a projected audiovisual material. The still projected or the motional projected. What you are looking at this particular is a still projected. Like we used to have a films. We used to put it in front of the lens. We used to pass some sunlight on it and we used to project it when we used to be kids. And this is, nowadays we have a motional projected. Even on this projector we can have a motional picture. In audio material you have records and then you have a spools. Okay, records everybody knows. Gramophone records or the audio CDs, and spools is the very good examples of the audio cassettes. Nowadays audio cassettes nobody listens because of the new emerging technology, MP3, MP4 and everything now, but audio cassettes are again a very good type of information source. So this was all about what we called it as a documentary type of sources that we have in a printed and a non-printed form available, might be in a library, might be in your personal library. Now let us move towards what is called as an web resources. I think sitting in this particular auditorium, each and everyone knows how to search on internet, isn't it? All are aware of this. So this talks about the web sources. What it says that web is a huge reservoir of information filled with billions of documents. असं म्हणतात की जर एका रूममध्ये खूप मोठा गवताच्या गंजी जर लावल्या आणि त्याच्यात एखादी सुई जर टाकली, त्याला त्या सुईला शोधून काढणं जितकं अवघड आहे तितकंच अवघड इंटरनेटवरती माहिती शोधून काढणं आहे. The exact information, you might got a huge type of recall, but the precise information is very less. What actually information you want to search, that depends upon how you perform an information search strategy, right? So this is the thing, and information sources can be classified in numerous ways. What we have seen in the previous sources, all those sources are available in web resources also. The same things. E-journals, electronic discussion list, forums, Usenet list, data and software archives, email-based information services, library catalog, web OBACs and online databases. So these are the same thing what we have seen in the previous slides, but in an electronic form. The previous were the printed forms, now these are the electronic forms. Then you have guide to information sources, search engines, online chatting, bulletin board services and full text of documents. Now basically what are the types of web resources? Everyone knows that if you type on Google you will get everything, isn't it? But there are three types of web resources: open web, gated web and invisible web. Everyone has an Android? Maximum. You people search internet, what type of information you get on that particular thing? Free information, isn't it? Free information. But that free information is authentic. Is it authentic?
Not always.
Not always, because in any of the research, whatever information is freely available is not authentic. Now, if it is available freely, what you people prefer is that it can be used. But authentication is the main parameter where this particular thing always makes some mishaps. Okay, and when you cut the R from the free, what it becomes? Free madla R cut kela tha? Fee based. So the information which is available fee based is always authentic. Okay, that is what it says. Open web and gated web. Open web means anything found freely with the search engines is called as an open web. What you generally look into the Yahoo or whatever search engine you want to search. The second is a gated web, online resources accessible by subscription only. That is your journals or whatever databases you people subscribe. That is the gated web. And invisible web is a web where the databases are not found by the search engines. There are a lot of databases which can be accessible only through your personal IDs. Okay, whatever you will get in a free is only a login page of that particular home page. But what is in the back of the databases, it cannot be retrieved by the freely available information. So you need to have a invisible web also. That is what a databases you people have. And we will discuss in the further presentation that what available invisible webs we have in a management sciences. Then the next category is the electronic information sources. A very slight difference is there between the web information sources and the electronic information sources. Can anybody tell me what is the slight difference in electronic sources and web sources? Web sources सगळे जण हाताळत आहेत, isn't it? Electronic sources, basically web sources are the electronic sources, isn't it? It's in a digital form, but why it is called as an electronic sources? Because this is used offline. You need not have to have an internet connectivity for using electronic sources. This can be used in a campus, in an organization without internet connection. But web sources, you need to have an internet connection. Without that, no web sources can be accessed. But electronic sources can be accessed without internet. And you will find a variety of things. Now e-journals, e-books, these are the major sources. You have primary sources, you have databases, you have e-books, e-journals, reference sources, organizations and people, meta resources including guides to the internet resources. Now let us talk about the e-journals. E-journals are basically the mirror copy of whatever printed journals comes in a library. The digital form of that particular journal is an e-journal. Those that utilize the technology to offer enhanced functionalities. Like if you want to search anything in a particular issue, you just have to type a keyword and it will take you to that particular hint or whatever answer it is. But in a particular printed form, you don't have this type of functionality. Then serials produced, published nationally or internationally via electronic networks such as internet or bitnet, which is available online or in CD-ROM format. Now again you have three types of e-journals. One is the online journal, CD-ROM journal or a network journal. Previously the journals used to come in a CDs, and if those CDs are placed on a server of an institute, it becomes a network journal. Right? And online journals, again you have to have an internet connectivity for online journals. Now what are the advantages of e-journals? Speed of access to the latest information. Previously what used to happen is when a journal issue is to be published, after 2 months it used to reach a library. So there used to be a 2 months gap between a user and that information. But nowadays, because of the advanced technology, the moment the administrator or the web administrator publishes that issue, you people have access to the information. So that 2 months gap or that particular speed, what you get in this particular type of e-journals is an advantage. Quick searching, you can search not only an issue, but the whole archives you can search. That is again an advantage. Linking from to other resources. This is a very beauty of an e-journal. If you are searching for a particular information, you will again get other linkages like equal to this particular link or related to that particular link, and it will take you again to variety of articles. So that lacks in the printed type of thing. Downloading an article to any device. You need not have a worry about wear and tear or missing of the issues or any theft of that particular issue from a library, because this particular source is the only source which is not allowed in a circulation of any of the libraries because of its high cost. But now you can download any article and to any device. Ability to implement multimedia elements. पूर्वी फक्त स्टील पिक्चर प्रिंट होऊन यायचं जर्नल मध्ये. Nowadays, if a reaction one has to show of a chemical reaction or the molecular structure of that particular compound, you can put a video of that particular into that particular media also, so that a user can click on that particular option and he can view how that particular compound is in molecule or designed. So this is a beautiful advantage of e-journals. Like what if we say advantage, what is the opposite of advantage? Disadvantage. So again, this many disadvantages are also there, right? Lack of computer knowledge. One has to have a computer knowledge to use e-journals. Difficult to remember passwords. If it's a password based, it is difficult to remember each and every password. Slow speed of network. Okay, if you are fortunate to have a good speed, fine, but not everywhere. Okay, speed is again a problem. Lack of citation standards. Difficulty to read from the computer. Person like me, having a specs from 25 years, if I sit the whole time in front of the monitor, my eyes will again have problems. So it is really very difficult to sit and read in front of the computer. Dependence on electronic equipments, like what we have faced in the morning before starting this. My presentation is in electronic format. No, it was not working. So I was dependent on that particular equipment. The same thing, if your equipments are not functional, you cannot have that particular information. And readers reluctant to accept e-journal format. Yeah, the readers also should accept this particular format of e-journals.
Sir, why it is lack of citation standards? Why it is
Lack of citation standard is because each and everyone are not following a particular standard of citations. Like one has to follow APS style, or one has to follow a Chicago style or a MLA style, but majority of the people, they don't follow citations or a particular style formats. So that is what is lack of citation standards. Okay? But nowadays
It is latex.
it is compulsory. Whatever article has to be printed, they will tell you that you have to follow a specific format. Okay? Now these are the few management science journals what we can have and access to. This is very few one. There are thousands and thousands of journals available in related with the management science. What? Should I discontinue? You don't want to listen me? टाळ्या कशासाठी? म्हणजे आवडलंय का बंद करू? आवडलंय ना? टाळ्या शेवटी वाचून ठेवा. आता मदत नका मारू. टाळ्या कोण मारतं? माहिती आहे ना? शेवटी वाचून ठेवा. The bibliographic databases and the full text databases. Now this is again very important for you people. Okay, what I am talking is for your benefit only. ना तुम्हाला जर वाटत असेल मी थांबावं, मला थांबायला काही हरकत नाही. What you want? Should I continue? Now in databases you have a bibliographic database and you have a full text databases. In a bibliographic database, what we have is the Inform ACI bibliographic database, from which you can have a bibliographic information of a particular topic, what you are looking for, a particular research or whatever information you want. Okay, this is a ACI bibliographic database by Informs, and this particular annual comprehension, it has approximately 38,818 journals included in this database related with the management sciences, and it covers from 76 to 2001, and again after 2001 you have another type of database. The entries from the period of 75 to 87 comes in the Inform journal, and from 88 to 2001 comes from the total approximately 663 different Informs as well as non-Inform journals. So this is a very important source as a bibliographic database for management sciences. This is how one can search in this particular database, by author, by title, by journal, volume, year, keyword, or by the KO or classification or any other search terms. Full text database is the Scopus database. Again, these are all the paid type of journals or the databases. As I have told you that you have a free databases and you have a fee-based databases. These are particularly the fee-based databases. Scopus is very popular type of database, and you can have such type of utilities in which you can search a variety of information. You have a basic search, you have an author search, you have an advanced search. Even by putting a boolean operators, you can search this. You can have this type of queries. You put, the results can be displayed. This is how it brings the result sheet. Then this is how, if you click on any of the particular thing, you will have an abstract. And then on the full text link, if you click, you can have a full text of that particular article. Now coming to a very important part, that is search engines, what you people use in every day of your work. So we have three type of search engines: individual search engine, subject directory search engine and a meta search engine. What all you people are, you are a individual personality. Agreed? Okay. Now searching individually is called as an individual search engine. If I categorize you people as persons from HR, persons from marketing, persons from finance, it becomes a categorized search. Okay, that is Google or Yahoo. Google or Yahoo is a subject directory search engine. And if combinedly everyone searches for a particular information, that is called as a meta search engine. For example, you have a docfile.com, meta trawler. Okay, these are very few meta search engines. Now what happens, or the advantage of meta search engine is that one can combine the search results of all the individual search engines, remove the duplicates, and you will have a very precise information. ना एकच काम जर प्रत्येकाला दिलं आणि प्रत्येकाला त्याच्या कॅपॅसिटीनुसार त्यांनी रिट्राईव्ह करून आणलं तर त्याचा निश्चितच कुठेतरी डेटा लॉस होतो. बट इफ इन मेटा सर्च इंजिन, इफ यू सर्च, you have a very minimum search loss or a data loss, but the precision is very, very precise. Then you have indexes and abstracts in this particular subject. In your management studies, we have a ProQuest which provides you the ABI Inform data line, which is local and regional complement or to ABI Inform. Then you have ABI Inform Global, which quickly connects user to more up to the scholarly information that they need to conduct the scholarly research, including journal, news, dataspace, dissertations, working papers, reports, and etc. Then you have ABI Inform Research, you have ABI Inform Trade and Industry, because trade and industry is again one of the very important database for you people, where you search information related with the industry or the industrial information what you need for your projects. So this is again one of the very important. Now combining the previous all, what you have is an ABI Inform Complete, in which you get all those little packets in one single product. So this is the ABI Inform Complete. You have the full text image, you have a text graphics, you have abstract and index. Electronic it is present, online it is also present. It covers from 1923 up to now, and it has more than 6,800 journals in its particular database. So this is the information about what is an ABI Complete. What benefits we have from ABI Inform is we can explore 25 million company records. See, 25 million company records is a very huge data. Now what you search is for 2-3 industries, isn't it? 25 million around the whole globe. Then you have comprehensive expert market information in this. You have a cut-edge thinking. You have the most important journals available in this. You can dig deep into what you want a data, and then first with the most influential business news. The business news is also available in this. You have a comprehensively review of relevant literature available in this particular. Again, you have a second type of product, that is a ProQuest Business Collection. What you have, this particular 3 collections: ABI Inform Complete, ProQuest Entrepreneurship, ProQuest Accounting and Tax, International Bibliography of Social Sciences, Asian Business and Reference, Banking Information and Sources, and there are many more available in this particular.
So
the companies that were mentioned here in ProQuest, how many Indian companies are there?
The Indian companies, whatever they have provided the data. Because we have a tendency in India that whatever we have, we don't want to share. So in that case, you cannot find that information. But the industry which wants to share its information, everything is available there. And it's a worldwide accepted and very popular type of product.
Subscription library.
Now, if anyone wants to know that what other options are there, BSL collection is a very good, which is available online. It's a Vikram Sarabhai library collection of IIM Ahmedabad, and I have again given a link to that particular file. It's a PDF file of 35 pages. You people can download it, and all other related products might be a CD-ROM, might be online databases, and variety of things are available, and the content of that is given in that particular. So in the conclusion, I would like to say that e-resources have the set without doubt, but both the compulsions and the advantages of the emerging worldwide digital scenario and the imperatives of internet economy are unlikely to leave the researchers with any choice. Okay, so nowadays you cannot live without e-sources. It has become one of the very important part of your life. Like you cannot live without your mobiles. Mobiles is again the electronic equipment which contains the e-sources. So the same thing is there, and I would like to thank you all for your cooperation. I would like to thank the principal, the director of this institute, and the librarian who has given me the opportunity, and you all people who, not I won't say patiently because you people were not patient. Okay, you need to learn more patience. But I would like to thank you also that you have listened to me. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask. Thank you.
Hello. Thanks a lot to all students. I take an opportunity to propose vote of thanks at the end of today's inaugural event and lectures. I express my deep gratitude to my PhD guide Dr. Shashank Sorone sir for accepting our invitation to guest lecture and valuable time and guidance to our students for the e-resources, e-journals, advantages and disadvantages for all of my students. I am grateful to our director Dr. Vivek Kadare sir to provide us an opportunity to organize the Granth Pradarshan and this lecture. Last but not least, I am thankful to all faculty members, non-teaching staff members and our students for their presence and help. Thank you very much.